And now for something completely different.
What I do is I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch!
Oh, is that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, BoJack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another episode of No Time to Binge, which is this weird new show that we just started where most of us want to watch TV, but kind of don't really want to watch the boring stuff. So we decided to just do something different, which is watch the very first episode and then the very last episode and try to figure out what happened in the middle. And it's not necessarily a review show, more of just kind of like, what's the show about? What's going on? There's some audio going on here, so I'm sorry. Okay, that's good. We do have some cool people that we're going to talk about this show with. First, we have Mr. Michael Colby. Michael, if you want to tell people who you are and where you're from, because we're not going to go at the end, I guess, or who you're from.
Hi, I'm Michael Colby from The Real Boys. Jack Billings presents Me and My Neighbor Michael. It's a comedy podcast about neighborhood goings-on, which is not for everyone. And like 17 other things that I don't remember right now because I've been put on the spot.
All right. Well, we'll come right back to you then to get the rest of your shows. But real quick, like, how do you feel this process of fake binging?
It's a good thing you had no idea you were going to do this show.
Shut up.
I mean, that is true. And also, you introduce yourself 9 times a week, so
that's
really should
also
be
true. Yeah.
But
this is much earlier than we normally record, so I just woke up like not that long ago.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, how do you feel about this style of fake binge showing, where you just watch the first and end and try to understand what the course of the show is?
I'm a big fan of this. I would actually prefer to watch most shows like this. Just watch the first one, watch the last one, and then, you know what? I'll figure it out. Because for the most part, most of the shows I've ever watched all of, the middle part, who cares? I could come up with something better than that. So I think this is a good way to do it. Because then the show goes however I want it to go.
I completely agree, because then you can just kind of make it up and go, I guess this guy came in this way. Cool. All right. Well, we'll get back to you in a second. Up next, we're going to give your sister from another Mr. Mr. Matt Deterior. Matt, how are you, sir?
Oh, hey, it's me, the monotone, monochrome, microphone wielding madman, Matthew Deterior. Hey, it's me, Matt Deterior. I am stand-up comedian, soon-to-be published author, writer, director, voice actor for Jack Billings Presents Me and My Neighbor Michael and the other podcasts in that universe. Also, I have been known for picking up rocks and chewing on them. Hi.
Hey, welcome back. Now, after last week when we learned about JoJo, did you happen to get back into that series and kind of get into it anymore or no?
No, I tried to forget a lot about it. But for some of the randomness that happened in the iCarly kind of reminded me of the randomness that could happen in JoJo. So I would like to think there's a world where they connect somewhere. Most likely an awful nightmare world, but it could happen and should.
Yeah, I will say iCarly was not bloody enough nor gay enough for me to continue watching it.
Well, you see, that's going to be their college years when they're all of age and out and about experiencing life.
Just bloody and gay. I'm in. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. All right, cool. We're gonna bring you back up. Up next, we have Miss B Hyland from all of these amazing podcasts. Deep Lore is this podcast, a JoJo Reference. B, now that you're into not getting super into shows, just watching the first and end of it, do you suggest this to most people?
Yes, if they have the same problem that I do, in that they get attached to characters and they immediately die, because that happens to me every single time I watch a show. I don't think it would happen in iCarly. Something tells me that wouldn't be a problem, but just in general.
Yeah, it seems like in iCarly the opposite happened. Like you watch the first episode, you're like, I guess I like one of these, maybe two of these, and then you watch the end, you're like, okay, who are these 8 other people? And I don't like anybody.
I couldn't tell who was who.
Yeah. Now
I just kind of wrote descriptors.
yeah, it's like the tall one, the one who has a receding hairline. Would you go back and watch any of these episodes now that you've seen this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, and this is coming from a fan of JoJo.
Even from the first episode, I was completely lost.
Yeah, I kind of agree. We're going to get into it in a second. Up next, we have Mr. Dylan Terry. Dylan, my best friend. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, because I'm not watching this show.
Yeah. So as a writer, when the show comes on and you see the first couple lines going on, you're like, oh, okay, I see exactly where this show is going. Or no.
This show specifically?
Yeah, iCarly.
I was too busy trying to tune out the audience going into just hyper overdrive with everything that was going on screen. Principal was reading and the audience is laughing. iCarly comes. Is her name iCarly or it's just Carly?
It's just Carly.
iCarly comes into the office. Carly comes into the office and the audience like cheers. They make fun of the teacher and the audience laughs. Yeah. They do something slightly sympathetic and the audience, I don't know. It was so much.
You're not putting the proper quotation marks around audience.
Oh, you're right. This is all canned.
Yeah, it wasn't so much a laugh track as it is like the audience just makes noise occasionally, which is really funny.
Like a bunch of like Warhammer servitors and all just robots programmed to make noises.
Yeah, yeah. What are you saying, Matt?
The random noises really threw me off, especially the moaning. I thought it was really out of place and inappropriate.
That's for a different show.
Apparently that's covered in a later episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that soon. But we do have an expert on iCarly today. We have a first time to this show, first time to any show that I'm on. We have Gee Seyler. Seyler. Is that right? Seyler. Oh my God, I was way wrong. I used to pronounce it Colby, but apparently I was wrong in that also. Okay, so G, I feel like the way the show starts, there's something that we need to know about iCarly. Is that true? Like, is this a spin-off of something else?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. Now, what about this show makes you like it so much?
It's just like I guess nostalgia of it, because I was like the biggest iCarly fan when I was little. So like everything in my room was iCarly. All of my clothing was because somebody in iCarly wore it. Like that was my life when I was a kid. So watching it again was just kind of nice to see, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you also like go on the website? Like, was it just the show only, or were you like super invested? Was there blogs and stuff?
Super invested. I would go on the website. I played the games. I like watched all of the like videos and stuff. I was the biggest fan of iCarly.
Oh, right on. So the stuff they did was actually fun, because like when you watch the first and last episode, it's obvious that like they're doing a lot of callbacks to what they did in the first. So I don't really get a sense of what they did except for that mustache squirrel bit, which was pretty clever. All right. Well, I hope we don't get too mean with your with one of your favorite shows, but let's get into it if that's okay with everybody. Now, the show starts. It is iPilot, right? And for those that don't know, iCarly is an American teen sitcom created by Dan Schneider. Boo.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Dan Schneider.
Not going to get into Dan Schneider. But just so that everyone knows, that is the only reason I never even invested any time in the show whatsoever. So if you don't know about the show, check out Dan Schneider. Learn about him first. But whatever. So it ran.
Don't do that.
You should know who Dan Schneider is. Okay. So anyway, it ran on Nickelodeon from 2007 to 2012. It's a series that stars Miranda Cosgrove, Jeanette McCurdy, Nathan Kress, and Jerry trainer, and it tells the story of Carly Shay, a teenager who creates her own web show called iCarly with her best friend Sam Puckett, Freddie Benson, in the apartment loft that she and her older brother Spencer Shay live in. As the show quickly becomes an internet phenomenon, the youngsters are tasked with balancing their normal teenage lives with the wacky situations their newfound fame lands them in. I guess, okay, so for people that are watching this, would you get the sense after watching the first and last episode that Carly is a celebrity?
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know any other celebrity that like I want to spend alone time, so I'm going to hang out in a restaurant so that no one talks to me. So it does seem odd that she is a celebrity. I don't know, but. So and I guess
I feel like she's like an internet celebrity.
Yeah, she's an internet celebrity, so it's different. I mean, you guys are internet celebrities, and I can imagine you can go to a restaurant and not get like bombarded because
you're wrong.
I can't go to restaurants, but that's not because of my internet stardom.
I haven't been able to go to a restaurant in well over a year and a half now. Things are crazy. I would say it's almost a pandemic if I go out there. So I don't. But anyway, I feel like the way the show starts, you need to know something about any of these characters because the show starts and Carly is being sent to the principal's office, and the principal is chuckling at a picture. And it turns out that that Carly's friend Sam photoshopped a picture of the teacher's face onto a rhino and put it somewhere, right?
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
It's a brilliant piece of writing because they always tell you to start as close to the ending as possible, so there's no setup whatsoever.
That's true. I don't understand. So at first I'm like, I guess a head on a rhino is bad, right? That's bad. And I guess Carly is a bad kid because the principal just assumes that she did it. So I also get that she's not a good kid. Is that right?
No, she's a good kid. Sam's the bad one. As you can see, you know, when she comes out of the principal's office and says like, Sam's like, oh, I would have gotten, you know, I got 2 suspensions already this semester. So, yeah, she's the bad one. Carly was taking the heat for her.
Except the teacher and the principal both think that she did it.
I don't know. I all I wrote was, why is she friends with this girl?
Yeah.
That's the question I want answered.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question you're going to have through the whole series if you watch it, because she's pretty rotten.
Yeah.
Cool.
And after a little bit of like a classroom, I guess just sass, instead of getting detention, Carly gets a job filming a student, like a talent show, like a fake talent show.
Mm-hmm.
Instead
Not a
of
fake talent show, talent show for the school.
It's the auditions.
It's the auditions for the talent show, right?
It's just, her punishment is because it's on a Saturday.
Oh, and instead of going to a Cuttlefish concert. Now, gee, does the band Cuttlefish come up often? Is this like one of the hot bands that all the kids want to go to?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
I remember they come up a couple times, but it's not like
once or twice. It's not.
Yeah, it's not super. I have a very weird relationship with this show because there are some episodes of this that I've never seen and some episodes that I've seen 75 times because of the way that they were on TV and the fact that, you know, it was the only time, you know, for 25 minutes that my kid would shut up. So I mean, a 7-year-old, you know, sometimes you got to plop them down in front of the TV and let them watch a show.
It's not a very nice thing to say about Mike.
You mean Matt?
Matt?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Who are you talking about?
Matt.
Okay. So then we go to the credits, and the credits let me know that she lives in a gigantic step-by-step style house, and she goes to Bayside High School, and she spends way too much time on her computer, and I don't think she has parents based on what the credits show. After the credits, we meet her bad friend Sam, and then we meet some creep across the hall who's Freddie, and it turns out he's my favorite character. And I guess he just stares in his peephole, waiting for Carly to get home every single day. Then we meet the brother who's 26-year-old, and he is doing a very bad Jim Carrey impression. And Fred has the equipment that the girls need for their detention on Saturday night. Right? They're they got punished to do this thing on Saturday night or Saturday daytime. Because, like, I know they're missing a concert to do this, but why would kids be auditioning for a school talent show on a Saturday night somewhere? Is that
because it's a show for 10-year-olds?
Look, I'm
Michael's
not
getting that.
I'm not 10. Oh, now you're gonna go Dylan's route. Like, it's a show. It's a show.
I mean, it's a kids show.
I'm just trying to understand if she's going to a
I
daytime
know.
rave or something.
It doesn't. I mean, Saturday concerts, I don't know if you were ever in a band or anything, but like we used to play at a place like the Juice Bar or wherever the fuck they are. Like we used to play during the day on the porches of these types of restaurants. Like it could be any time during a Saturday.
All right, that's fair. Then we get to the auditions. And Dylan, how do you feel about any of these auditions?
I'm a trumpet player.
Yep.
I've been a trumpet player for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to get yourself a new set of teeth is to play a trumpet while on a pogo stick. And the best way to win the talent show is to play the trumpet on a pogo stick. So that's an intersection of two things that I would definitely recommend for anybody watching this episode.
Yeah, that is a wild paradox. Matt, you are a stand-up comedian. If you had the punchline, I like the eggs.
What's your setup?
Yeah, what's the setup to that joke?
It would be about a relationship that I would be in, and he or she would keep coming back for more Matt Deterior action, but only because of the breakfast that I cook them.
I get it. And they would in turn.
And there he goes.
And then he left.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, yeah.
I have had Matt's breakfast. It is very good. Like I do like the eggs.
You like the eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so what happens next is the crux of the show, which is Carly and Sam. For some reason, just start body shaming their teacher and talking about her aggressively pointy boobs. And Fred, being the very bad kid he is, he videotapes them on purpose. And he uploads just that video instead of all the other audition videos. And it turns out that this video gets about a lot of updates, right? And 37 views or 37,000 views. Lots of people like it. What else here? Oh, I forgot to mention that go ahead.
The most devious thing about this whole Freddie putting up the wrong video by mistake was that now I found myself staring at Miss Briggs' chest region, and that felt like something I just shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
But
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, now I have to judge this woman's breasts to see if kids actually would find these pointy.
Yeah.
I didn't notice until they pointed it out.
So thanks, Freddie, asshole.
Well, at least it's better than, Dan Schneider would have you do and be staring at like Carly and Sam's chests.
That's fair, and I wasn't going to bring that up.
I have no reference for who this Dan Schneider is, but I take it he shouldn't be around children.
Yeah, he's a pervert who made a bunch of shows with teenage girls just because he liked to. I don't think he touched them.
No,
but he
wasn't
definitely
good.
a creep to them.
Not a good dude.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, but anyway, so Freddie, like I said, he uploaded just this 30-second video instead of 20 other full videos, and then it gets so many updates that the kids like it. And when they go back to the apartment, my first main question is, who cooked that full ham? Who cooked the ham with the bone in it? Because I don't think Spencer is cooking
The
or
deli.
buying. Oh, they just bought a full ham at the deli?
Probably. No, I don't know. Why not?
Whatever.
Spencer actually, through the show, Spencer does show proficiency at cooking. Like he is a pretty good cook.
Oh, because it only shows him eating cold tuna casserole at the end and this magic ham showing up now. But anyway, so apparently the kids like this third-party sexual harassment so much that iCarly gets to make her own show because they need more of these views. And let's see. Now they have a third floor of their apartment, which is a studio that has a stage and I think a car in it. And the first show is... I wrote first show is Sam is like Phil Better with a Roadcaster. And And then broken arm milk kid, backwards talker, a goat, a goodbye. They perform a full show without any of the word ums, and then Pogo Horn. It's uploaded to iCarly.com. Who pays for the hosting? 37,000 views. Crazy Hat Party. At this point, I actually checked. I was like, "Is this an hour-long show?" This was only 18 minutes into the show, and I'm like, "Oh my god, so much is happening." But then boys think that she's hot, so she gets a show.
So I want to point out one thing that is a very, very small detail that gets to me, and they do this in not just iCarly, but a lot of stuff. They put on the viewfinder graphic for the camera, and stuff happens outside the graphic. So, like, people's elbows are cutting out of the shot. People would be shot from, like, the forehead down. It's a really minor detail, but they do it in this episode and the last episode. And I'm like, come on. Where's my consistency?
It's a TV show for kids, Dylan. I think that's what everyone has. I think that's what everyone has learned here.
I don't think that applies to this situation, but I'll stop.
Okay, G, we are at the end of episode 1, and you have now finished watching this in probably the 50th time or whatever since 2007. How does episode 1 hold up in your memory?
Not good.
Not good. Okay. Matt, episode 1, overall, what do you think of the show?
The most impressive part of this entire episode was Sam, the badass character who uncomfortably adds.
Oh my god! Wow,
that's what.
All right, B. Now we have a show where there are teenagers with a 26-year-old boy, and they live in this guy's house, right? And what do you think is going to happen throughout the course of the series? We're assuming that. Go ahead.
I mean, we can assume they get internet famous. I thought maybe they tour. I don't know. But I feel like Carly and her BFF are gonna like have a big blowout or something. There's gonna be your typical teenage drama, and I wrote, we will never see the parents. Parents are a myth.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see. I wasn't expecting to see any parents. I assumed that nobody has a job. I assumed that Freddie constantly just gawks over Carly. I wasn't I mean, I guess it does make sense that Freddie and Sam would get together at some point, mostly to make Carly jealous, but then they might have feelings. Anyway, so Mike, you have seen the show many times.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen episode 1 before?
Yeah.
All right, defend this show.
I don't remember seeing the last episode, though, which is the strange part.
Oh, you never saw iGoodbye?
I don't think so. I may have, but I
even saw the last episode.
Well, I have, and it.
Yeah. Oh no, I have now. I have now. I did watch the first and last for this.
Yeah. My questions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There is going to be stuff that I do remember from the middle.
Yeah, so my questions going forward were my questions in between. I'm like, do we ever find out about the parents? Will iCarly ever monetize on instant viewers? Will the teacher be a secret fan? Will the principal keep the rhino photo? And that comes up later on. And what is their marketing strategy for their website? Those are all my main questions about episode 1 here.
You're thinking about this too much as someone who does things on the internet in 2019 to 2021. This was
2007
to 2012.
Yeah.
We are at the very beginning of this sort of YouTube craze. So really the only thing anybody knew about it was like, if people watch it, you're famous and you're going to get money from it, because they do end up getting money from it.
Oh,
you know, they are internet famous. That's a fact. And now, it happens pretty quickly.
Now, is Splash Face, is that YouTube or is that like a social media?
No, it's like a YouTube.
Okay, cool. And all the kids watch this, right? Like that is like,
oh yeah. This is a teenage centered YouTube, video type thing.
So it's like TikTok.
Yeah,
now,
it's like TikTok.
When throughout the next couple of seasons, is it detrimental that she is a student while also being aggressively famous?
I mean, kind of. There are a couple episodes where like I mean, I remember one specifically where they all get detention and they do iCarly from detention. But it doesn't
That was
really
pretty
affect
fun.
her as a student. It's just like something that she does.
All right. So then we skip all the way to
the burning.
Oh, go ahead.
The burning question I have is: at one point in episode 1, is Sam puts a whole ham out onto the counter?
Is he doing this intentionally?
I think so.
No,
think
he
so.
really does have, like, out of
Okay.
all of the real boys, he actually does have the worst Wi-Fi.
Okay.
All right, so anyway, we skip ahead to season 5, episode 14, which is called iGoodbye. Now, this opens with a taller and way more stoned Carly talking to Sam, and Fred. Do you ever notice, like, from episode 1 to like the end, she's like, "Hey, Sam, we're internet stars now." I was like, "Oh God, whatever." So Fred shows up with a deeper voice, and he has a huge phone, and this is going to be just like a joke throughout the whole episode.
God.
I mean,
Now-
for 2012, that's a pretty funny joke. Like, the phones were getting pretty huge then.
I love that you love this joke. Anyway, so they.
Oh, no, I don't love the joke. I'm
No,
just
dude,
saying, in
no,
2012,
it's fine. You're allowed to
it
make a
was-
big phone joke. It's a big phone. It
Like,
can
I
bar-
do- I-
Dude,
I mean,
it barely fits in his pants.
I have this tablet that is basically that phone. And at one point, a friend of mine had the Galaxy Note.
Yep.
And it was like, we did make fun of him for that. So, I mean, this is definitely a viable 2012 joke.
Yeah, so we know who the target audience of iCarly is. It's Michael Colby. Go ahead.
As a woman, I have a lot to say about that one particular joke.
Is it the one about her not being married?
What?
Or-
No.
Oh, what joke?
No. The phone, the giant phone, like not
Oh.
fitting in his pockets, because it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, we've been doing, pockets don't exist for us. They're like this deep. We've
Yeah.
never had pockets. We've always had this problem. Suck it up, get a purse. That's what I wrote. Suck it up, get a purse.
Yeah, get a purse.
And he did.
Right there.
And he did. He sucked it up and got a purse.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Michael Colby's defending the show. Okay, so now we get
so
to
mad.
now we go to a little bit of a teacher harassing about her not being married and still having boobs with shapes. iCarly gets an email from her dad, and he can't show up to a dance that apparently means something to her. And then we get the credits. Now, the new credits show new cast members, and Spencer has long hair, and they've obviously had a lot of fun over the last couple of years. Once again, iCarly gets the email. Let's see. I do not like this new cast member. I don't know who this guy is. He's
The 30-year-old high school student in the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, the balding guy that apparently broke into somebody's apartment and stole a lamp.
The strange thing about Gibby is he does show up and he is their same age. And I was as shocked as anyone what he looked like in that last episode, because I do remember when he showed up and he was a little kid. He was just a little fat kid who was the same size as everybody else. But when I saw him in that last episode, I was like, what in the fuck happened to this guy?
Who is this adult child?
Yes, he does look completely different, but he is their same age, which is the craziest thing.
Yeah,
because I do remember him coming in as a kid.
And this is the first time that we see the elevator moving in their apartment. And this is when I'm like, what kind of building is this? I do not understand. How come some people take the front door? Why would you take the steps? She lives on the 8th floor. But I guess the elevator's fine. I don't know. All right, so we have this new character, which once again, I just do not like him whatsoever. iCarly's at a restaurant because she wants to be alone because her dad's not going to take her to the dance. And I wrote, she's obviously not a celebrity yet. A dude tells Carly that what kind of woman he prefers. And God, I hope they're friends.
That was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's like, I like me kind of a bigger woman.
Like a woman with some heft. It's
Yeah.
When she was like, please go away. That was like, I was like, yes, relatable.
Yeah.
Please go
And I'm
away.
like, yeah, I was like, does she even know this guy? He just had to like, goes, man, I like me a big woman.
It was set up like a joke, but it felt too real and way too uncomfortable, and I was upsetty spaghetti. Did not like. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, they do know each other throughout the entire thing of the show. That's like where they hang out. That's like their central perk that they hang out at.
All right. And then we get another scene that made me a bit uncomfortable. There is a motorcycle in the room, and Sam loves this thing, and there is some sexual tension between them that I am not happy with.
I also noticed that, and it was really creepy.
Yeah, I do not like it because so I'm assuming that this is 5 years later, right? Is that how the seasons like school years? Gee, okay, yeah. So he was 26 at the beginning, so now he's a 31-year-old man who does not have a job, and he has now been aggressively flirting with a ex-12-year-old, now possible 17-year-old, and she runs her finger down this motorcycle. I was like, "Mommy like," and I'm like, "Oh." Zach does not like this.
She calls herself Mama through the show. Like that's her name for herself.
That's uncomfortable.
I don't know if that makes it better.
No, I'm just saying it's not out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then I wrote somebody between Beetlejuice and Bill Murray from Osmosis Joe shows up for some reason and interrupts Sam and Spencer's date to give them a choke knob.
With no context, this character is horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, beyond horrifying. Like, there are open sores on his face. I don't know if that's a uniform he's supposed to wear or he's in a ska band. I don't know if the hair is a choice or if he's homeless. I do not understand anything about this character whatsoever.
I have a question for people who have watched the show relatively through. Does his state deteriorate over the course of the show? Like, does he show up normal? He shows up like that?
He's always awful.
Yeah,
that would have been a fun gag if he deteriorates over the course of it.
He's like the doorman of their building, who just hates everyone.
Now, is he always sick, or is that this episode?
No, he's not always sick. He does always have that wart, though.
Oh, because that was just this is one of the most. Yeah, really, this is just not good.
No, it's horrible.
I am not happy with this person whatsoever.
He reminded me a lot of
the show.
What's that be?
I said I wrote, what genre is this show?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a gross show.
I wasn't quite sure.
It's a gross show to shut 7-year-olds up.
Matt, your initial impression on this dirtbag who lives in a hotel.
Oh, loved him. Do we know what he is? Like, is he a bellhop, like a front desk attendant?
Is he a contagion?
Right. It reminded me of David Johansen and Scrooged, the cab driver from Scrooge.
Boy, that's the guy.
Yeah, I was like, man, why couldn't they get him for this? Because,
Oh, that would have
New
been
York
really
girls aren't
good if
boring.
they would have gotten David Johansen for that role.
Yeah, there was a little time that I wrote, I really hope that he's just a ghost friend of theirs that just haunts the hotel. But no, he is a grotesque human being.
He's an imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually shows up the second episode, and they end up, like, sending a fruit basket to him that has, like, a bomb in it, and it explodes, and he breaks his leg.
I'm sorry. Wait.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Did I hear that right?
Charlie, there's a segment called Messing with Lubert, and that's the first segment.
They send him a bomb?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'm back in
prison.
All right.
Absolutely.
Isn't that terrorism?
Maybe the show's good. I've noticed. So it turns out because the choke knob is incorrect.
I'm like,
Go ahead.
I was like, what, man, why does this guy hate these kids so much? Well, they fucking sent him a bomb that broke his leg. Yeah, that might piss me off too.
And
Yeah.
that's not even the worst thing that they do to it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things I don't like people doing at my work, but I can't imagine someone just sent me like explosives while I'm just trying to do my job as the service industry. But because apparently either he brings the wrong choke knob or Spencer orders the wrong choke knob, Sacco is going to be very upset that he will not be able to give this bike to somebody. And now Spencer, because he has to take Carly to this date, he won't be able to go on his date with Sam. I mean Audra, right? Okay. Now,
I think it was a double, right? We have confirmed that by this final season, final episode, Sam is 18, correct?
I don't know.
17 or 18.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if they ever graduated high school and they just kind of hang out there, but this is 5 years later, and they are sometimes in the hotel, but are in the school, but then she leaves for Italy. So I guess are they still in high school?
Yeah, they're seniors.
Okay. Cool. Okay, now I have avian flu shows back up, and then I'm like, I do not understand how this building works. Sam spent the night to work on the bike, and now she kept Spencer up so late that he's hungover or sick. And I guess it's because I thought that the bellhop guy was always coughing and sneezing, so I didn't get that he was sick from that guy. But I guess he was, right? Is that
well? Yeah, he coughed right into his mouth.
That could have been what he always does. I have no idea. This guy's nasty.
He is nasty, but he's
That's
not
just a
usually
character
coughing
trait.
into people's faces.
Yeah. And it's at this time I realized that the setup for the show is that the dad, who I do not know ever shows up, is not going to show up for something else. And I'm like, this is what the best idea they have for a finale. And then I wrote, one of the people who lives in his house made tuna casserole. That baffles me. I do not understand why a 31-year-old man who makes robots for a living would make tuna casserole, or Carly, right? One of them, whatever. So we have a little more humor with the turd friend because he needs a new fake head from a man who owns a ferret. And Sam did not buy Spencer's medicine because she had to check on Spencer with a bucket of chicken. A choke knob cost $2,000 and he bought one already, and I really don't care about this. We have a little more homophobia about a cell phone case. The mechanic gets a cheer, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a laugh track. I forgot about that. Is this mechanic somebody? Who's this guy?
No.
No, okay,
See, and that was my guess too. I was like, man, this mechanic should really be a long-term reoccurring character, but my heart of heart guess and feeling instinct said he's a one-off for the finale.
Yeah,
but
he had his own spin-off show, Eastbound and Down, on HBO, where he was a minor league baseball player.
Because when they showed this guy, the audience cheered, so that would make me think that like either they know the character, the actor, or the mechanic's cool. But no, that's not a thing, right?
No, it's the same way that they cheered when they showed the teacher or Carly in the first episode. They just cheer when they show characters.
Okay.
Did we address how Sam has so much motorbike knowledge? And I mean, she's redoing this entire bike. Do we know where that came from? Is she taking like night classes or? Yeah,
they definitely make it seem like Sam's a gearhead. Is that true?
No, not really.
She just loves this. Okay, so this episode.
For this episode, yes.
She not only does she love bikes, she knows everything about this bike and can fix it to completion overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What does Sam do?
It's about as plausible as anything else.
Right. What is Sam only Carly's friend, or does she have like her own hustle? Like, what does Sam do?
She's Carly's friend.
Yeah, she's the co-host of iCarly.
So
she's the Michael Colby to Jack Billings.
So I can only gather that she quickly learned about motorcycles to impress Spencer. Right? No? Okay.
I don't think so. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a couple episodes where like she rides a motorcycle or she says something about her motorcycle. I think her mom has one, and that's how she like learned about it.
And we find out that she doesn't have a dad, right? Her dad's dead?
I don't know what happened to her dad. three kids only have one parent. Carly and Spencer only have their dad. Sam only has a mom, and Freddie only has his mom.
Okay, all right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So let's see. Okay, also, why did the mechanics sell those rocks? Was that a thing?
No, man. This was the you know everything about this mechanic character.
So
you know everything that anybody else knows about this mechanic.
Do the rocks ever Dylan, please help me out.
I had a woman come through my work today who told me that she was cleaning her rocks so she could sell them. And I'm like, that's weird. And you just reminded me of this bit in the show. And I'm a little weirded out now.
Yeah, okay. So
it's a thing. Like
it's a thing people do.
Or a thing.
Okay, I just don't understand why this mechanic who's doing a pretty stereotypical, like, weird accent, who also works at a mechanic shop, also paints and gemstones rocks. I do not understand. Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter.
If I can quote The Simpsons,
you know what?
That's the joke.
Okay, I don't like that, but whatever. So we cut back to Ferret Man, and Fred's mom shows up to make more fun of Fred and his purse. Spencer has a 103-degree temperature, and maybe Carly's worried. Nope, she actually just wants to go to the dance. Now, I want
in the hospital.
I also want to understand, why does Carly want to go to this dance? I think that she just wants to have a good time, right?
You know what I want to know, Zach? Why is it Sam keeps referring to herself as Mama?
Well,
I really did not like that at all.
One of the 8 times that you dipped out, it turns out that is her nickname for herself. So she calls herself
that's
Mama
her
throughout.
thing. Like,
yeah,
all the way. Wow.
Yeah, she calls herself that throughout the whole series.
Okay, so
okay,
pretty gross. But okay, so about this dance. Now I know
it's almost like a pervert wrote this show.
Right. Fair. But the dance. So I thought initially that she wanted to spend time with her dad because this is something they haven't done in 4 years. But it turns out that Spencer can just take her to this father-daughter military dance. And when Spencer's sick, it turns out that her 2 friends can take her to the father-daughter dance, and that also would have been okay with her. So does the father-daughter... Okay, you never see the dad ever in the show, right?
No, never until...
Times.
I figured,
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
you
I
do?
He shows up a couple times.
Huh.
Is the father-daughter dance a thing that they have done before? Like, does she ever... Oh, okay, so that doesn't come back. Okay, so I'm curious of what kind of dance this is that at least her friends can take her to. But then I wrote, whoa, Sam and Freddie got together. That I found that out. That was interesting, but I guess I could see that. Sam talks about Spencer's butt, and she fixes the bike. Spencer gives Sam the bike. And then I wrote, oh, I guess this guy's name is Gib, right? That's what the kid's name is? The fat kid? Gibby?
Yeah.
Because of his gimmick? Gibby!
Yeah.
Right? So, okay. He I thought that was a South Park thing, but... So Spencer gives Sam the bike, and then Gibby gets his head, and he gets a ferret out of it because the guy messed up. Now, Carly is looking at the dance website when the dudes show up to take her to the dance. But at this time, we already found out that Spencer's feeling better. So could he have not taken her to the dance? I don't know. That's not a big deal. Okay. Okay. So, and then I wrote, what's the point of the father-daughter dance? Then I wrote, Dad shows up and he is so aggressively late to take her to the dance. Now, so she was ready to go to the dance when Spencer was sick. Spencer then fell into a sick coma, broke his fever before the dad got home to surprise Carly to take her to the father-daughter dance that I guess she was supposed to have just been waiting ready for the dad to get there, right? Like, I think the dad kind of sucks also.
Yeah.
The dad's not
That's
great.
the impression I got.
Yeah. Then I wrote crazy hat taco party. Restaurant dude is Freddie's stepdad.
I was so thrilled that episode 1 ended with a crazy hat party. They brought it all the way back to the finale. Yet another crazy hat party. This time with tacos.
They're not just any tacos. They're Spencer's specialty dish, which is spaghetti inside of a taco shell They're spaghetti tacos, and they play a major food role in the show.
Yeah, I think
those actually kind of rule.
I mean, it sounds good.
we have actually made those at the house, and they're pretty good.
Dylan, are they called Cincinnati tacos?
Only if you put chili on top.
Oh,
no.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, you would have to put chili and a bunch of cheese on top of them.
Okay, so Freddie and Carly have a kiss. I guess finally, or have they kissed before in the season?
They
or series?
kissed. There was an episode where Freddie broke his leg, and they did kiss at the end of that. But other than that, it was the only time.
So, Gee, is this a whole Betty, Veronica, Archie love triangle thing going on, or is this a different?
Kind of, but like the Sam and Freddie thing only lasts for a couple episodes, and it starts because Sam at one point on iCarly, Freddie tells like everybody that Sam has never had a kiss, and then after like at the end of that episode, she goes out and talks to Freddie, and then they're like, well, why don't we just both get it over with, get our first kiss over with, and then they kiss, and then it turns into this whole big thing.
Oh, so they're the Ross and Rachel then. Nice.
Maybe she'd get more kisses if she wasn't so mean.
No, you can't hide your real self. Get those kisses from the people who appreciate who you are.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have some more goodbyes, and for some reason, Carly is checking Dan Schneider's Twitter account, which makes me so really angry. Weird. I was so upset about that. And if you look at those tweets, he's thanking everybody except for anybody in the show. He doesn't thank the actors at all. He thanks his wife and some other scumbags. And I hate this man, and I hate the show.
Does that mean that Dan Schneider in iCarly knows that he's in a TV show and is like trapped in this like fake reality and he's trying to get out?
Well, if you look at what his bio was, he wrote that he sometimes breaks the fourth wall, which is a cool joke for this little skip here. Then I wrote that everybody remembers something. Was that?
How quirky.
Yes.
I've never done that before.
It's so clever to call yourself out on your bits.
Dude, such quirk in the show. Everybody remembers things. Sam stops at a green light. We see a bunch of clips that I guess are funny. And then that made me think that, like, so she's watching these clips. She watches the final episode and she shuts her laptop. Did she make a best of iCarly video that she just watched, or did she binge her own show before the plane takes off?
She watched the first and last episodes of iCarly, and then they all like remember from the show.
The show's a mind fuck.
Do you? Oh my God!
I'm dead serious.
The concept of this show is based on an iCarly episode.
We're an iCarly reference.
Is this podcast?
We're in iCarly. We broke the fourth wall and we went into iCarly.
Is this podcast an iCarly reference? Oh my God!
We have to change the podcast name to that now, guys. We have to.
I am so.
We don't have a choice.
I am so upset.
But we have so much. We have so much marketing for this. No time to binge. Yeah, that's crazy because, like I said, I never watched.
And I got the tattoo.
I already had a Matt Deterior tattoo, so.
Okay, so questions on the show. Dylan, what is your biggest question after finishing the finale of the show?
In which episode does I Frankenstein appear?
B. Yep. Nice. B.
Hi.
Question.
So my only question actually was, is Sam a lesbian? And I think it was pretty handily answered. She's not.
She's not.
It was answered in the last episode. But that was like the first thing I wrote, like, is she a lesbian? Question mark.
Michael Colby.
They should have done something with like, I don't, if I remember correctly, there's not any sort of gay anything in this show, which is strange for a 2010 high school.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, true.
a real life one, not a television one.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
yes.
We were
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over
yeah.
the place.
Right. Okay, Matt Deterior, your biggest question after watching episode called iFinale. What do you want to know about this show that you did not get?
I think it was called iGoodbye, but
sorry,
what I did not get
Sorry.
was more ham. I cut out the last time, and when Sam put that ham on the table and carved it right into her mouth, is she addicted to ham? Was there more ham? I need to know.
A lot of ham. Yeah, is food a thing in the show? Like, do they just have?
Was it a
weird
one-off ham?
No,
Lot of ham.
Sam
ham.
like eats. That's her thing.
Yeah.
She's mean and she eats a lot.
Food? Okay,
That's quirky.
such quirk. Okay, so what is the point of iCarly, the show inside of the show? Like, is it sketch comedy, or do they do things?
It's just a sketch comedy show.
Do they help people in any way? Like, or do they reach out to people, or do they like? Do we ever see anybody that says like, "Hey, because of your show, I was able to solve my problem with my parents' divorce"? Do they ever do any of those kind of things with this show?
I don't think so. Like, not that I could remember.
Okay,
It is sort of.
Do they
it is a
ever
sketch
maim
comedy
any other
thing.
people?
They also do. Yeah, they maim people. Yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of injury on this show. Like, there's a surprising amount of injuries on this show. But they do like game shows and
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's.
Now, Gee, you were a fan of the show at the finale, right? You were still watching it live when this came out. Now, was there spin-off shows? Did anybody get us? Okay, what spin-off shows came out of this?
So the spin-off show is actually a combination of this and Victorious. It's called Sam and Cat, and it actually autoplayed after I finished watching the last episode. The interesting thing is it starts with Sam on that motorcycle getting to Los Angeles.
Oh,
she goes
Yeah,
all the
and
way
it,
to LA.
like,
All right.
It came out a couple years after iCarly ended, but that's where she was going at the end of that episode. It like led into that first episode of Sam and Cat.
And they know Kat from this show, right? Kat was on this show.
Cat
and then
was on Victorious.
Did that is that this universe? Did they cross over with the
Yeah,
show at
they
all?
cross over a couple times.
Oh, so there's a Snyderverse. Okay. Okay. Weird. Okay, so when iCarly leaves for Italy, she just dips on high school, right? We can all agree that she does not graduate. She just leaves school.
Her dad does say that there's a school that she can go to in Italy. So I think she
she just transfers
in Italy.
All right. Michael Colby, you have seen most of this show, not all of it.
Not all of it.
What do you think that we're not getting by only watching first and last?
Like I said, it may sound like I'm defending the show. I'm not really. This does have nostalgia for me because I mean my child loved this show. Like we had iCarly Wii games and DS games, like anything that had the iCarly branding on it, that was like our thing. So I do have good feelings about this show, just, remembering stuff, and we would sit down and watch the show together and, whatever. The show's not good. The acting is bad. The show doesn't really go anywhere. It's one of those sort of sitcoms like a Cheers where, we get different situations, but we never really go anywhere. So it's whatever. It's a TV show for 12 to 15-year-olds. And, but yeah, what you're not getting is a lot of the stuff in the middle. Like Gibby, you said you hated him. We see him from a kid and he's like an obnoxious kid. He actually does have sort of an arc to his character where he grows up a little bit, but then he regresses. So it's like a circle arc.
Does Gibby have parents? Because he has a brother, right?
Yeah, he has a brother named Guppy, but I don't know. I
They-
don't think we ever meet his parents.
They sprang from the sea foam.
Yeah, there is a little Gibby who does look like Gibby, and I imagine if we would see Guppy in that last episode, he would look like Gibby did when he was introduced to the show, which is interesting, and I don't know why they didn't do that.
B, if you could go to the mall and put your head inside a device to get a 3D printed bee head, would you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I would then auction it off.
yeah, I would buy one.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I thought
I'm
that
just saying, one of these in every household.
I thought that business model was really cool. I'm like, I would do that. That sounds cool. Yeah, I'm into that. All right. Is there anything else, G, you want to talk about with this show? What was it like the best moment of iCarly throughout all 5 seasons?
It's hard to say. I think my favorite would be one of the movies. They had a movie where they went to Japan, which was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, it's genuinely one of my favorite movies. Like, it's
Put it on the
really
real
good.
wheel.
At one point, like Freddie and his mom get like trapped in seaweed at a massage place. It's great. And then there's also one where she fights a like very popular in this universe MMA fighter who's played by Victoria Justice. That movie was also good when I was little. I haven't seen it since I was little, but
yeah, the problem with recommending movies that you haven't seen for a while.
Oh, I'm not recommending them because they probably don't hold up. But yeah, those two were probably my favorite iCarly things.
Cool. Matt, if you could watch a spin-off show with any one of these characters, who would you watch a show about?
You know what? None of them, because I've learned my lesson, and the lesson of this show is that Michael sometimes jokes hurt. And you know, you proposed we watched iCarly as a big joke to make Zach mad, and what happened? You hurt everyone, including yourself.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
That's on you.
Yeah, this was a joke against Zach,
I would watch. I'd watch a spinoff with the bellhop. I want to see that 24/7.
Yeah.
I kind of think I would watch a show with Lubert as well.
It's just
like
the stand.
It would just like I would watch like security camera footage of what he gets up to at that front desk because they do show him like because G said earlier there is a segment on their web show called Messin' with Lubert where they do stuff and it is security cam footage and it shows him like talking to people that live in the apartment building or like people who are delivering packages. And he's just the worst human being, and it's pretty hilarious.
Wow. Now, see, Michael, with that information, I now want an iLubert show that is all from his perspective and definitely rating hard R. No doubt about it.
I want a series from the mechanic's point of view. He's trying to sell his rocks. He's got his buddies at the hairstylist that make his hair like that. All his quirky clients.
Yeah, he had a lot of character development. I'm like, this guy actually, he has interest. That's weird. Okay, B, what is your biggest takeaway from iCarly?
Oh my God. My biggest takeaway is that you can make a show about anything.
Yeah, about anything.
And teenage girls will absolutely eat it up, or preteen girls, whatever. However old they are, they will eat it up. And that is sad.
I completely agree. All right, Michael Colby, I am very upset with you for making us watch just at least 2 episodes of this.
I'm upset with me too. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I'm
You're
really
not
glad,
alone here.
I'm really glad that
Never
Matt,
forgive you.
Yeah, I'm glad Matt put you in your place and let you know how much you hurt everyone. B threatened to quit this show because of just this episode alone, which is number 2.
Well, Matt, that's okay because Matt threatened to quit over watching JoJo. So.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you, Gee, so much for being. Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Gee, for being here and answering any questions. I hope this does not deter how much you like the show. I can see this being like a nostalgic thing, and that's awesome. I will never, ever watch anything that has to do with iCarly, but I appreciate you, and I appreciate your admiration for this. So it looks like what we decided to watch next week is what was it, Dylan? American Horror Story
Hotel
Gaga.
Hotel Gaga.
Okay. Now I don't know anything about American Horror Story at all. All I know is that it is an anthology series where I guess that means that they have the same actors every single series that play different casts. It is a horror based in different settings, and it is from the creators of Glee. That is literally the extent of my knowledge. Gee, have you ever seen American Horror Story?
I've seen a couple episodes of a couple seasons, but I haven't actually watched it.
Okay. Dylan, you said you've seen episode 1 of this already?
I saw episode 1 of this with the people with my roommates back at the premiere, and I never tuned in again. Gaga seemed to be playing it up though.
Okay. B, what are we in store for here?
Lady Gaga. That's all you need.
Just a lot of Gaga.
That was the only reason I watched it. That was the only reason. I was like, Lady Gaga's here. She looks great. I'm going to watch it. And I, honest to goodness, couldn't tell you what it's about, but Lady Gaga looked good.
All right, I'm in. Matt, are you excited about this show? I know you have not been excited about JoJo or iCarly. Do you think there's something in American Horror Story that will make you interested at all?
Oh, well, I have seen The Hotel. So
cool.
There's that. But it was my very first Lady Gaga experience. I knew she existed, but other than that, I'd never really I don't know, but I liked her in this. All American Horror Story, there's stuff that I think is great about it, and then there's stuff that I'm like, oh, well, I guess you can do it that way too. But yeah, this is gonna be a badass thrill ride with vampires. Love it.
Cool. All right, Michael Colby, would you tell anyone to watch iCarly, or would you tell them just to watch the bookends?
I am, like I said, I'm a big fan of watching the bookends. I would recommend pretty much any show as watching the bookends because it's not really that much of your time. Plus, you get to use your imagination. It's fun. You can make the show do whatever you want it to do. iCarly is very much... It's a very loud show. Everybody's yelling all the time. So, like, if you need something that just sort of... just to keep you up, like to keep you awake, I would suggest it. But not if you're... Not if you want to sit down and watch something. I wouldn't suggest iCarly.
You're right, Michael. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I was like, man, what's going to happen next? Is there going to be more ham?
No,
are they going to body shame more teachers?
See, you only heard the last of it. I said it keeps you up because of how loud they are. Everybody's just screaming.
Oh, I heard that part.
Oh, okay.
I was curious about the amount of ham that shows up in this show, though.
Oh, everybody's hamming it up.
It's a lot of food. They are always like digging into
Dylan.
Huge amounts of food.
I think Matt's time delay is one of my favorite things in the entire planet right now. Okay. Yep, nailed it again. All right, everybody. Does anybody want to say goodbye or anything? Does anybody want to pitch anything before we get out of here and go watch American Horror Story Hotel? How do we end this thing?
Well, you didn't let G tell everybody where they're from.
That's true. What?
I'm G. I'm on Jack Billings Presents. I'm the dog walker. I'm only on like 8 episodes, but that's okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Only.
Gee, you're more than welcome to show up on this show whenever you want. You're awesome. And if you want to watch American Horror Story, please show up. That's cool. Anybody else? B, where can people find you?
Let me. You can find me on Deep Lore That is my podcast. Also, is this podcast a JoJo reference? Both of those can be found on Spotify.
You can find links to B's shows in the show notes or on either one of her hands, which is good. Michael Colby,
Yeah.
what's up?
Well, because a pretty bad thunderstorm just started here, so before my internet cuts out, just search Jack Billings Presents on your podcast thing, and you'll get me and my neighbor Micheal. And once we start putting out the new stuff, you'll get that. Watch The Real Boys on YouTube, on Facebook. Watch this show, which you're already doing, so keep watching it. And then my new obsession is this thing that Dylan and Zach are about to talk about. So I'm not going to plug their stuff. But yeah, check me out on Twitter at my neighbor MICH1.
Nice. Dylan Terry, me and you.
Yep.
Some nobodies just hanging out. Wait, do we got to do separate things? We're not going to do separate things. We're just going to do them together.
Okay.
This is fun. Okay, so if you want to know what me and Dylan are up to, we just created something called Create Your Own Podventure. Dylan, that dude, wrote 18 episodes of a very cool winding thing. It is like an audible river. You can hop off whatever you want. You can choose how this thing goes. You can ride the waves. I guess that's it for the water references. Either way, create your own podventure. We appreciate anybody. Dylan worked very hard on it, and it's awesome. So if you're into audio dramas where you choose how it goes, you kind of choose which episode to listen to next, up to whatever you want to do. But you can see all of our weird stuff at Some Nobodies if you're into very weird stuff that Dylan can write. But please, check out B over at Lore and JoJo podcast of JoJo Reference. I'm sorry, I don't know why I messed that up. Check out Michael Colby, Jack Billings with Matt and the Dog Walker. You can find G wherever they want to be found. I don't know, look him up. And Dylan, he's Vorpal Words on Twitter. Find him because he posts occasionally. And
every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see you guys later.
You can find Zach everywhere.
What? Literally everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
And now for something completely different.
What I do is I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch.
Oh, that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, BoJack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.
Surprise post credits. Zach put this intro outro together. Give him a shout out. Bye.